What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be filming part 7 of my record collection. This is basically just a record update video from the last video that I had that showed you my entire vinyl collection. I think I've gotten like 30 more vinyl since then. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm gonna be pulling them straight from here and showing you the vinyl record like I used to, you know, pulling it out of the package, and then also kind of giving you my thoughts on the album. All right, so first up, we have, I don't remember what was in my last videos, but I'm gonna try my best to pull out the new ones. So we have No Love Lost by Blast. This is a really good R&B, like trap kind of project. It just felt really refreshing, and yeah, I just feel like he's one of the best R&B artists out right now. This came on like a cloudy, like not completely clear, but like a cloudy vinyl. But yeah, Blast I found out about him from Kendrick, and then I like went to his discography, and I've seen this one like before, just like in passing on Instagram and stuff like that. So I gave it a listen, and it's really good. A lot of similar songs on this, like it's very cohesive. It sounds kind of all the same, but it's like a good all the same. It kind of meshes all together really well, and it's just a nice listen all the way through. My favorite tracks off of this will have to be Overrated, Just Saying, Chosen is the banger off of here, Searching. Yeah, there's a lot of good songs on here, but highly recommend, if you've never listened to this, go listen to it. It was pretty cheap on Wax as well. Next up, we have Action Bronson's Lamb Over Rice. This is his little EP with The Alchemist, and this is just like a really cool vinyl, like the packaging, because you could exchange all of the covers out. So I'll show you all those covers. So this is like the classic one. You could flip it, you could have that one. You got this one. Action Bronson painted all of these, which is cool too. He paints all of his album covers. So that's a little fun fact about Action Bronson albums. But yeah, you could change the covers, which is really dope. And then this album is just, or EP, whatever it is really just, I feel like Action Bronson returned to his like true form with this project, and ever since then he's been just releasing really good music. And you can't go wrong with Alchemist production. And yeah, I just really love Action Bronson's like wittiness, clever bars, flow. He's just a fun guy to listen to. This is White Wax. This is the only Action Bronson vinyl that I own, actually, which is weird because I listen to him a lot. I just never like feel inclined to buy his records, I guess. But yeah, he's really dope. I love watching his what's his like food YouTube channel. Really cool. That's the back. My favorite songs off of this would be Dimitri, Sven, Just the Way It Is, and Arnold and Danny is really cool because the Alchemist raps on that song. So yeah, I really like a lot of the songs off of. Oh, also Accoutrements, I think I'm saying that right. Really cool song. But yeah, Lamb Over Rice by Action Bronson. I actually forgot that I got this project too recently from my local record store. We got Limbo by Amine. Amine is super charismatic and just like a fun rapper to listen to. Before this project, I feel like his music wasn't as serious, but Limbo kind of opened up his range of where he could go with his songs, and he kind of became a little bit more of a lyrical rapper, I would say. But yeah, Amine shows a lot of potential. I think that this was a step in the right direction for him. His 2.5 album was pretty good too. But yeah, I remember this came out, I was super hyped for it because he released Woodlawn and Shimmy, and those were like insanely hard songs, like really good songs. The rest of the album didn't disappoint. I mean, it's about being like kind of stuck in this weird phase of your life where you're trying to get out of it, and it does a really good job, you know, explaining where he's at in his life during the time that he made this. But yeah, my favorite songs off of this would be Woodlawn, Shimmy, Riri goes so hard, Pressure in My Palms with Vince and Slow Tie is really good, and yeah, those are my favorite songs in this. project. This is on standard black. I'll show you the sleeve, or the gatefold, I should say. So this is the gatefold for it. So pretty cool. Nice little joint. Found that at my local store used for like a good price, so I'm happy about that. Next up, what do we got? We got the Beatles' best album, in my opinion. Found this for $5 at a local shop. This is just a masterpiece. Like, I just love this project front to back. To me, nothing really comes close to this in their discography aside from Abbey Road and Let It Be. This is just a classic. The cover's iconic, the gatefold's iconic. They were on some hardcore drugs when they made this album. But you know, like, I feel like people make the best music when they're high out of their mind. So yeah, I would say favorite songs off of this would be A Little Help from My Friends. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is unreal. I actually found out about this album from Mac Miller because he sampled it. And I was like, where's that sample from? Because I knew it was the Beatles and it was the Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I'm pretty sure it was on the song Loud. And that's what got me into this album when I was younger. Fixing a Hole is really good. Seeing if there's any other standouts. Getting Better. Just such good music on this thing. That's on a black vinyl as well. All right, next up, what do we got? Next up, we have Planet Her by Doja Cat. I was supposed to see Doja Cat open for the Weeknd's After Hours Dawn FM tour, but then she got like tonsillitis or something. She had to get some kind of surgery done, and she backed out of the show. And I was pretty bummed about it because I started listening to this album a lot in preparation for that tour, and then she canceled. But I ended up becoming like a pretty big fan of hers. I really like her music. I think she's got like a unique sound in hip hop for a female. Everyone usually tries to sound like Nicki Minaj, but I feel like Doja Cat has like her own sound, and she also has like really nice pockets of flows. So that's what makes her stand out to me from the rest. She's kind of lost her mind a little bit recently, but Planet Her was a really cool album. I really like the space theme to it. The music videos were really cool. If you've never seen those music videos on YouTube, there's like really good CGI and just like cool concepts in that. But yeah, this is the album cover, and then this is the back. I believe there's a gatefold too. Let me see. Yeah, so this is the gatefold. Pretty cool. And then it's on black wax. I don't know, is there like a, oh yeah, there is like an insert. So we got some inserts here. We got Doja in a weird ass pose. And then we got, let's see what else we got in here. Pretty cool vinyl. No, that's it. All right, so yeah, pretty decent album. My favorite songs off of it. Wow, these are written very weirdly. Give me 1 second, guys. Which way am I supposed to see this? Okay, it was upside down. All right, so I would say Woman, Payday with Young Thug, Need to Know is the best Doja Cat song of all time, bro. Her flow in that song is disgusting. Like, I've never heard someone flow like that in a hip hop song. So I give her credit to that. That's the song that put me onto her. I knew like of her prior stuff, but Need to Know really impressed me. You Right with The Weeknd was really fire too. Kiss Me More with SZA, dude. That song's classic, really good vibes. And yeah, just a nice album, some good features on here. Glad to own it. I needed more females in my record collection. But yeah, Planet Her, man. All right, next up. Next up we have Daniel Caesar's Case Study. This is a very nice, underrated project. I feel like this, if you're a Frank Ocean fan, you'd really like this project. It's kind of like similar to the production of Blonde. Very like stripped back, but also like there's layers to it in terms of like lyrics, vocals, even the instrumentation's pretty cool throughout it. And it's just like a really relaxing, peaceful listen. And it definitely is like it's like he's performing surgery on himself, kind of like pulling back layers of himself throughout the project. and it's like he's performing like a case study on himself. So yeah, it's a cool album. Highly recommend it. His voice is unbelievable, dude. I mean, he's one of the best singers out, in my opinion. This is the gatefold. The back. And then this came on a, like an interesting, like see-through reddish pink record. But yeah, I like this project a lot. If you guys haven't listened to it, I highly recommend it. It also came with this. It's like plastic. But yeah, highly recommend it. Really nice to just like chill out to. Really good to fall asleep to, by the way. Like throwing in some AirPods, listening to Case Study 01 while you're trying to relax, go to bed. It's a solid album to do that with. After that, what do we have? What did we get? All right, next up we have Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry. This is a Newberry Comics limited edition orange splatter vinyl. This album, one of the best albums of the year for me. Denzel Curry really showed what he could do and took all of his like past work and kind of combined it into this album. He used all his skills and his talent that he's kind of shown in his past music, and that's why I really like this album. I think that there could have been like a couple more like grandiose moments on this project. I was expecting, like with the Walking single that was released, it was so big that I was like expecting a like kind of a little more of like a movie feel, like a more cinematic feel to the whole album. It was there, don't get me wrong, but like I felt like I was prepared for like a Because of the Internet and like that type of album, which it came close to it, but it like didn't quite hit it. Like I thought there was so much potential with that, and like the videos and everything in that he released on YouTube. Like I thought he could have really put together like a cool cinematic experience with this project. But aside from that, I mean, the songs are really good. It's like a good combination of like boom bap, hip hop, and futuristic, the new futuristic wave that's going around in hip hop. But my favorite songs off of this, I would have to go to Worst Comes to Worst is fire. Troubles with T-Pain. T-Pain has a verse on there. It sounds like it's 2007 again, bro. Ain't No Way is really good. X-Wing is fire. Sanjuro, Zatoichi, like all of this really good. The Ills. Dude, I saw him live and I've never mosh pitted, like went into a mosh pit before, and it was insane, like so fun. He had everybody like get down to the floor, like bend down, and then like when the song drops, like everyone got up and moshed. It was insane. Really fun to see live. You know, he has his bangers on here. He has his songs you can rage to, but then he also has his chill stuff on here. So I think that's what makes this project special. I'll show you the packaging. So this is the sleeve, and then the vinyl for this is really cool. If you could see that, it's like an orange with like a bunch of gradient. Really cool vinyl. So yeah, I don't think this is better than Taboo, but I think it's his next best, you know, since Taboo. So moving on. What else we have? Next up we have Thank Me Later by Drake. To me, this album super slept on. I mean, this is what put me on to Drake, really. I mean, I knew his other stuff prior, but when I was young, this is what I was bumping all the time. I mean, songs like Over, Show Me a Good Time, Fancy, Miss Me. This was my middle school, like 7th, 8th grade memories. So this album to me is like super underrated. Best I Ever Had's a bonus track on this. The Resistance. Just a lot of classics on here, dude. Find Your Love. Probably a top 5 Drake project. And yeah, I'm just glad I own it. It's really hard to find on vinyl. This is a bootleg, and it's a really cool bootleg, actually. This is from Rollin' Rex. I'll show you the vinyl. Really cool. There's 2 of them, but this one, I mean, they both kind of look the same. But yeah, underrated Drake project, man. Good times, good memories, a lot of nostalgia with this project for me. And I really needed it on wax, and Rolling Rex had it, so I was hyped. Next up, what else do we have here? Next up, we have Eagles Hotel California. I picked this up. It's like almost brand new, and I got it for like $5 at a store used. This just has a special place in my heart because I play guitar, and Hotel California was the first or second song that I learned on guitar. And yeah, I love this album too. It's really chill, really peaceful, really fun to listen to. Great summer music, and really cool cover. There's the hotel, and yeah, that was a good pickup, good find. All right, so the next three vinyl is for Code of the Friend. So Code of the Friend is one of my favorite rappers, and he has a series called Lyrics to Go, and he recently just released all of his Lyrics to Go vinyl. And I was hyped to hear that because I never thought they would get a release. They're all on a 10-inch record. And you see, we got the, oh, let me flip it this way. Oh, that's just a fail. Don't ignore that. But anyways, yeah, I was really hyped that he released all three of them on vinyl, and I purchased all three of them. So the first one we have is Lyrics to Go Volume 1. This is the project that got me into Code of the Friend. I didn't know who he was until I heard this. I also knew the song Colorado, but like still I didn't know who he was as a rapper. I turned this on, and it was like perfect because in order to get to know a rapper, like you don't have the patience to like sit there and listen to like an hour-and-a-half album all the time. This was like a very concise project where he just like spit bars for 1 minute and 30 seconds on each track, and it ended in like 25 minutes, and I got to know who Code of the Friend was. I instantly became a fan after this because it literally took me 20 minutes, and I was like, damn, he just squeezed like his hardest bars into 1 minute and 30 seconds on each track. So he like proved to me that he has talent very quickly with this project, and I think it was really genius of him to do this. And yeah, so this project's really, really good. It comes on a very good, let me try and get it out, sorry, there's like plastic in the way. It comes on a very cool red and black, or orange and black splatter. So this is from Mutombo Records, so shout out to them. But yeah, really cool wax here. So yeah, love this album. Favorite songs off of it, give me 1 second, I'm gonna put this back. Favorite songs off of this, I would have to go with Can't Please Everybody, Lazy River, New York with Love, Flu Game, and Berlin. All really good off of this joint. The next one is Lyrics to Go Volume 2. This, honestly, this one and the first one are pretty like even to me. Like I think they're like, in terms of how good they are, I think they're pretty even. This is a really good project. Same concept, rapping over beats for like 1 minute 30, 2 minutes at most. 25-minute album, quick album. This one was really positive, upbeat, chill vibes. The other one was kind of like a little more aggressive. But Lyrics to Go Volume 2, he was in a nice place here, kind of just enjoying the fruits of life. As you can see with the cover, like I'm pretty sure he made the album, I would think, I would assume, in this area. But yeah, really cool. I'll show you these are all really well pressed vinyl. So this is a cool one too. And then favorite songs off of this, I would have to go with, I'm gonna have to speed this up because I have a lot more of records to show you guys. But Clinton Hill, $200, Living Room, Emotionally Dumb, and Flowers. Those are my favorite songs off this. And then we have Lyrics to Go Volume 3. That's the cover. Coda was kind of in a darker place during this. There was like all these accusations piling up about him that were false. He confronts all of that on this project. And it's actually also very solid of a joint. And the pressing on this vinyl is really cool. So all three of these are just really awesome. I'm so glad that I could own them. They're all limited to like 1,000 copies. So if you are a fan of his and a fan of the Lyrics to Go series, I highly recommend you hop on it now. After that, let's see, what else do we have? Then I picked up Freddie Gibbs singles. I just really like these singles. They're really good, and I wanted to own them because I listened to them a lot. I ordered this thinking it was the Bunny Rabbit cover, and it wasn't, but it's still pretty cool. It's a guy selling like Freddie Gibbs and Big Sean t-shirts outside, like you know, like how they do that at sporting events. They'll try and sell you like some cheap shirts and whatever. But yeah, just really good singles. All of them are my favorite. If I had to rank them, I would go with Gang Signs 1, Big Boss Rabbit 2, Four Things 3. But yeah, Freddie did his thing on this. Cool little thing to own there. Next up, we have Confessions of a Dangerous Mind by Logic. I picked this up from a buddy on Instagram. So shout out to yet another vinyl page for selling me this. This album's super hated, but like I really like it and I really enjoy it because it came in a time where I got into Logic like kind of late. Like I liked him, but I really started becoming a fan later on, and I started doing like a reverse dive in his discography. So I started listening to like The Incredible True Story more and all of that stuff while this project was released. So I was in this like nice Logic phase where I kind of was listening to all of his music and enjoying it, and this dropped and I thought it was really fun. I mean, I didn't have many expectations for it. Like I know a lot of people thought it was going to be like way deeper, but I didn't really have any expectations, and I think it's a fun album. I also think that there's more concept to it than people think. Like clearly Logic is taken over by like the robot and his theme of his world that he's created, but clearly he's taken over by something in this project, and half of it's like him trying to come back to himself, but this robot is still controlling him, trying to have him act like how normal rappers should act. So you see that on songs like Icy, you see that on songs like Out of Sight, Part of My Ego, Cocaine. There's a lot of mockery on this album, like Logic's mocking rap and hip hop and its culture a lot in this project. And I think people kind of just like missed that concept a little bit. And I know like maybe they didn't and they just didn't enjoy the music, but I thought it was kind of cool the way he did it, you know. Starts off where he's like kind of himself, like he's Logic on Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, but then Homicide comes, and I think that's the death of Logic. And then from there on until Lost in Translation or Bobby, we don't really see the real Logic. So I think the whole middle portion of this album is kind of mockery and him coming in and out of his, you know, real self and this rapper image of himself. So I really enjoy this project. Overhated. This is super rare to own now too. It sells for like $200. So I'm really happy that I was able to find this. And yeah, I'll show you the gatefold. Nothing crazy. But it's on black vinyl, and yeah. Next up, we have, I don't know if I've shown this, but I'll just show it. We have No Pressure. Really good comeback album for Logic. This marked a really big change in his career. I think he just like went back to his roots. Nasty bars, nasty flows, pretty good storytelling. And it was really refreshing to hear this. Probably top 3 in his discography. Killed it. And yeah, what else can I say? There's some really good songs. Oh, I didn't even tell you my favorite songs off of Confessions. I would say my favorite songs off Confessions off the top of my mind are Mama Show Love, Limitless, Lost in Translations, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Off of this project, I'm not going to open it because it's like just an orange gatefold, but off of this project, my favorite songs are probably GP4, Celebration, Soul Food 2, Dad Bod, 5 Hooks, Heard Him Say, and Amen. Solid project again from Logic. And then we have, give me a little stretch break real quick. Next up, we have Bobby Tarantino 3. This was not like a good project. I mean, like, it has like really good singles like spread out throughout it, but it felt like it was just loosies, which it was. He confirmed that he just released this to kind of get out of his label quicker. I mean, there's some really good songs on here, and then there's just like some that are like meh. So yeah, I just feel like he kind of ruined the Bobby Tarantino series with this. I felt like it was very high quality music, and then he just like released this with a bunch of dumped songs on it. I feel like he should have named this something different and not put it under the Bobby Tarantino category. I also don't like how like the artwork's not consistent. Like the other ones have like the strip here, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this was rushed, and he could have done something else to get out of his label. Unless they like told him you need to make another Bobby Tarantino 3, like that's in his contract. I don't understand why he did that. But favorite songs off of here, I would have to go with Inside, Flawless, Theme for the People, and Untitled. Yeah. After that, we have Logic's Vinyl Days. This album was fire. This was like, honestly, this is a very good, probably my 4th favorite Logic album. But like this project was really good. It was so raw, and you could just see how much fun Logic had making this, and he's just not really thinking about all those other pressures in the industry. He just let go, went back to his passions, sampled, produced most of this album. It was really cool to see on YouTube, like the creation of this project. But yeah, it just gives me like that old 90s Jay Dilla straight rap type vibe. I really like how he has like different people talking throughout the album and how it flows through everything. A lot of songs on here, but I'll tell you, there's almost no skips. Like Logic killed this shit. And yeah, I just love it. Everything about it. Like the cover is so sick. The production's sick. The lyrics are pretty good. I don't think this came with anything else in it. This is on just black vinyl. Favorite songs off of this, I'm gonna have to go with Tetris, In My Lifetime. Action Bronson kills that verse. I'm going to go with Clouds. Therapy Music is unreal. Russ bodies that too. Breath Control with the Red Veil sample on it is crazy. Orville is the best song off this album with Blue in Exile. And Vinyl Days, bro. Vinyl Days is unreal. It's like one of the best Logic tracks too. I mean, this album, like just sitting here and hearing those songs, I'm like, damn, he really killed that. But yeah, so that's Vinyl Days. After that, we picked up Easy Mac, but my Mac and Ain't Easy. This was a gem to find because I needed this to finish his discography, and I found it on Discogs, I believe. But yeah, man, I mean, this is really cool because like it has some songs that I actually remember when I was like younger. I listened to, you know, I went back. I wasn't like a first one to like, this wasn't the first project that I heard from Mac Miller, but I went back and I remember listening to Come Around, Cruise, and J's on My Feet. So yeah, it's just cool to own this because he was so young. I believe he was 16, and like he was walking around the hallways of Taylor Alderdice handing these out to people like in CD forms. And this is before he was Mac Miller, he was Easy Mac. And yeah, it's just cool to own this. Like I just feel like as a Mac Miller fan, you have to have this. But yeah, Come Around, Cruise are unbelievable. Even Take Me to Paradise, that last song, like way ahead of his maturity level. Like I listen to that song now and I'm like, this guy was like, I feel like Mac Miller was really like 45, 50 years old, or like even older, like trapped in like a young person's body for like most of his life, because the man was so ahead of his time. Like I'm 26 now and I'm listening to stuff that he wrote when he was 18, 19 that I still relate to and still can, you know, find meaning in. So yeah, it's just cool to see the whole growth and to have like the day one project. Yeah, this is on White Wax. I'll show you that real quick. A lot of white wax these days, like a lot of white vinyl. But yeah, I think it also came with like a picture sleeve. So you got that. I don't know why it says A Kid's Journey. These are like bootlegs, so whoever makes them, they kind of just put whatever on them. But yeah, that's my Mac and Ain't Easy. Next up, we have The High Life. This was the album that put me onto Mac Miller. Just really a lot of nostalgic vibes on this. I love this project so much, man. This was a Rolling Rex bootleg. And yeah, really good memories. Had to get this too. I had to complete the whole discography. I hope to get the jukebox for the real Mac fans, and On and Beyond, the little EP too. I hope that gets pressed eventually. But I'm really hyped to own this. I just remember being so young and like listening to this, and it was so like different, and it was like somebody, I just related so much to him, and he was awesome. Like everybody wanted to be him. And like there were some major standout songs on this project, like Live Free was huge. That kind of blew him up. What else is on here? Cruise Control with Wiz, bro. Oh my God. That song's like literally every time that song comes on, I revert back to being 14 years old. Just My Imagination, Another Night, man. I remember I was like playing that on the guitar and I was filming myself when I was younger, dude. Just another night on my own. Fire, dude. Yeah, just really good like singles on here that proved what Mac Miller could do. It was kind of, this was like a little sample before Kids, but yeah, I love this album. I'll show you the packaging. We got a little stuff on here with some writing, and then I'll show you the record. It's gonna be a long video, man. This is the record on a nice blue. I actually forgot what that record looked like, but yeah, on a nice blue. Plays great. All of Roland Rex's bootlegs play really well. Next up, we have official Macadelic vinyl that dropped with the all-white cover, which is cool because I have the old cover, like the original cover on bootleg, so I'm glad that I have this one too. I don't really have to talk about this. We know what it is. Really good album. This is on a tricolor. So clean, dude. Like, this album's so cool. And yeah, favorite songs off of this, I would have to go with Desperado, Loud, Thoughts from a Balcony, Fight the Feeling. 1 through 8 is fucking underrated, dude. That song's unbelievable. The Question, also unbelievable. One of Lil Wayne's best verses ever on that. And F 'em All at the end. On like this album, bro. Man was so young when he made this. Ahead of his time, dude. Ahead of his time. After that, we have, I don't know if I've shown this in the past, but we have Nav's Good Intentions. Just a fun album, good trap stuff. People hate on Nav a lot, but I think he makes fun music. Nice, like, before you're going out to a club or a bar, he's fun to listen to. But there's some standout tracks on this. I actually have the signed version in my closet, like hung up, but yeah, this is a cool project. There's a lot of really good songs. There's a gatefold right there. I believe this is also on a yellow wax. I like that this was the alternative cover. I thought it was cool. But like, yeah, really nice combo right there. Like Nav, to me, he's one of those artists where it's like he'll have like a really good track and then like a bunch of like okay mediocre tracks and then really bad tracks. But on here, there's like some really good stuff. I think when he slows it down and becomes a little more melodic is when he's his best. And songs like No Debate with Young Thug, Codeine with Gunna are really hard. Run It Up with Pop Smoke is sick. Overdose is like classic Nav. But the best song off of all of this, which might be the best Nav song of all time, is Saint Laurent. That song is unreal. Like, if you haven't heard of Saint Laurent, go listen to it, and then also listen to it with reverb. It's life-changing. It really is. Next up, what do we have? So next up, we have my album of the year, and potentially the best hip-hop album in the past, like, 3 years for me. And this is Saba's Few Good Things. This album, it's so hard to explain it and why it's like really awesome and important, but I just think that like the effort that was put in, like we haven't seen an effort put into an album like this in a really long time. Like it gives me that 2015 vibe of, you know, or like even like this is like Good Kid, Mad City level music. Like this is like 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like this is classic hip hop music. to me, like the production, like I've never heard production like this on this album. It's so like rich and filled with like emotions and feelings, and it like sets you up in this environment. Like there's all these little sounds in this project that are just like they trigger something, you know, like they make you feel like you're there. They make you feel like you're in this story. And Saba does a great job, like kind of putting you in his situation where, you know, he misses being not famous, not rich, because no matter where you are in life, you're gonna have problems, is basically what he's saying on this. And the best moments in his life and the best things happened when he wasn't where he is right now. And he kind of just like breaks down his thought process on, you know, how he should be living, how he used to be living, and what made him happy, what makes him happy versus what doesn't. But yeah, it was a really, really good album. Like songs like One Way or Every N-word with a Budget, that song's unreal. Free Samples and then Few Good Things, how those songs tie together, the opening track and the ending track is unreal. Black Thought has a crazy verse on that. 2012 takes you back to like a moment in his life with this girl that he was really in love with, like that he enjoyed just like being a kid with. And it's like a really nice feeling song. There's a feeling of like he gives you his nostalgia in this track. I mean, in this album, like he puts you in his memories, his old times, and it's really cool. Soldier, that song is unbelievable, bro. There's also like a lot of talk of like, you know, the struggles of growing up in like a low income, you know, ghetto area. So there's some really just like good themes throughout this project. Interlude called Circus, also fire. But yeah, this is my album of the year. Kind of was ranting on it, probably made no sense whatsoever. But this is on a nice green, I believe. So yeah, Saba's Few Good Things. Saba's just so good, dude. He's definitely one of the best young artists out. This also came with a picture booklet. So it has like different pictures to like put you in the imagery and the scenery of, you know, the album. So yeah, that's A Few Good Things. Next up, we have Stolen Youth. We have Vince Staples by Vince Staples. This album is also one of my favorites of, I think this was 2021. I don't remember, but this is a really good project. I'm sorry, I'm stretching out my legs, guys, because my hips are killing me. Yeah, this is a really good project. I just think like it's a whole new sound for Vince Staples, and I always liked Vince more when he was more calm on beats and kind of had a more chill vibe. He was always like really aggressive and had like really funky production on stuff that wasn't really for me. But this album, when I tuned into it and listened to it, I was like, this is my type of music. It's just super chill, and it's like really chill, but also talking about pretty effed up things. You know what I mean? Like it's talking about his upbringing, his gang life, and all of that stuff, but there's this like kind of acceptance with it, and the way he's flowing and the way he's on the beats, like he just feels comfortable. He's like in these nice pockets. Production's sick. But yeah, songs like Are You With That, Law of Averages, Shining's hard, Take Me Home is unbelievable. Yeah, there's just a lot of good songs. Taking Trips. I saw this live. He opened up for Tyler, the Creator. I saw him perform this album live, which I was so happy about. This is my favorite Vince project, so this took forever to come in. That's the gatefold. I don't know if there is like a sleeve. So this is the sleeve. It's on black vinyl. But yeah, I love where Vince is going with his music. Ramona Park, Broke My Heart was really good too. After Vince, where do we have? After Vince, I don't know if I've shown you guys this, but I have Call Me If You Get Lost. Really cool alternative cover. And yeah, really good album. Saw this live. It was sweet. He had such a sick setup on stage. He had like a boat that came out, and literally there was water, and he was on a boat and it went across the stage. It was crazy. But really good Tyler album. I mean, he brings you into his universe every time he makes a project. Love the art, the themes, the colors. Typical Tyler, the Creator stuff with this. What do we have left here? I picked up Igor as well. I didn't have Igor for the longest time, and it was like one of those albums I've always wanted but never picked up for some reason. But Igor is a production masterpiece. I've never heard anything like this album. The closest thing you could pin it to is Kanye, but it like doesn't even fit in that. I mean, it's just Tyler, the Creator. Like, this album, to me, it set him apart from everybody else. Like, he always had that like uniqueness to him, but this, like, the whole sound of it is Tyler, the Creator to me. And he proved that he is one of the best artists, musicians in the game right now. I mean, like, in general, not even hip hop. Like, the guy could put together these melodies and these sounds that are so unique, and they have like so many different influences in them. Like, you hear like 80s influence, you hear like African tribal beat influences, you hear like heavy metal, you hear like all these things. And if you watch interviews with him, he tells you like all these influences that he had making Igor. And yeah, it's just really cool, amazing project. Super glad I own that. What else do we have here? I picked up Yay. This album aged like fine wine. It is very good. If only Kanye wasn't losing his damn mind. I mean, he's been losing his mind, but now it's like hard to back him. Can't really be supporting him like that anymore. But I mean, his music to me, I'm a person, I could separate the music from the person. But yeah, really cool project. I just realized I haven't said any of my favorite songs for the past like 5 projects. But favorite songs here: Yikes, No Mistakes, Ghost Town, Violent Crimes. Really, really good album. After that, we're almost at the end here, guys. Just bear with me. We have West Side Guns. Fly God is good all the time. Quick little joint, but I really like this project. It was the only thing I could afford to get from him. So I was kind of forced into listening to it because I could afford it. So I just bought it and listened to it. And yeah, it's really aggressive, but like, I like how hungry he is on this. Like, you could tell it's one of his older projects. Very hungry, very cool beats, very motivating. Makes you want to go like just do some crazy shit. But yeah, cool project. Dash House off of this is insane. And there's another song, they don't have the names on it, so I can't really remember. But Part Dukes, I think it is, or something like that. Really good off of this. And I think that might be it. Oh, lastly, I don't know if I showed you guys this, but we have Dawn FM. This is the collector's edition vinyl. To me, this is not as good as After Hours, but it was really cool and still a really good album. And I don't think there's anything to this. It's black vinyl. But The Weeknd, you know, he held up. I think it was still a really high quality album. I think it was highly criticized because it came after Hours, which is like a once in a like generation album in my opinion. Like, After Hours is a classic. And, you know, it's hard to follow up from that, but I think it was still a really good follow-up. And I think that, you know, he kind of stuck with that 80s synth sound. Hopefully he kind of veers away from that soon because it's going to get old. So I'm excited to see where he takes it from Dawn FM and if he's going to continue this storyline that he's had through the past few albums. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update video. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment on what your favorite project was or some of your favorite songs off of the projects I showed you. And yeah, have a good day. Thanks, guys.